Good morning, everyone. My name is Noemi Moico, a PT under the supervision of my coordinating teacher, Ma'am Beverly Joy Balyasta. We are now in Chapter 7 entitled ePortfolio as an Assessment Tool and as a Communication Medium. Our learning outcomes at the end of this chapter, you are expected to explain what an ePortfolio is, discuss the learning theory that supports the use of an e-portfolio, distinguish among the types of an e-portfolio, and discuss how to use e-portfolios effectively. Learners must focus on their collective work. Think about how it will be portrayed and what the work says about them as an individual learner. Learners are then in charge of their learning and the choice of where to demonstrate their proficiency. Learners also reflect on what they have learned and how they plan to build and improve themselves. What is the meaning of e-portfolio, or in other words, electronic portfolio? An electronic portfolio is a digital collection of course-related work like essays, posters, photographs, videos, and artwork created by students. An e-portfolio can also capture other aspects of a student's life, such as experience, extracurricular activities, and more. In other words, an e-portfolio documents and makes visible students' learning. Bakit sinasabing nagiging visible ang learning ng isang estudyante? Because sa electronic portfolio, sabi nga, is a digital collection. So, when we say digital, we are using electronic. We use computers, laptops, or any electronic device which we store them, or we store there the compilations of videos, the pictures, or any documents that we gathered during the process of the making of our works. That is why nagiging visible siya, because anytime na we are going to check the works that we have done, we can rely on the electronic device where we store our documents or files. According to Baskin, e-portfolios are a way to generate learning as well as document learning. Both generating learning and documenting or recording learning are important, but the process of generating learning sometimes gets overlooked. So, according to Baskin, uh, there is a learning existence. Both generating, documenting, and recording are important, but as what he said, generating learning sometimes gets overlooked. Bakit? Kasi minsan sa pagsasagawa natin ng documentations, we are we just focusing on the hard copies, or we forget to maximize the process of learning. E-portfolios generate learning because they provide an opportunity and virtual space for students to critically assess their academic work, to reflect on that work and make connections among different courses, assignments, and other activities such as work experience, extracurricular pursuits, volunteering opportunities, and more. Yes, as it is say, reflect. The students can reflect with their they have lapses to what are their weaknesses, their strengths upon checking on their documentations. Like, halimbawa, pag meron silang recording sa mga interviews na kanilang ginagawa, pag na ano nila yon na i-review nila. So, makikita nila doon, maririnig nila kung saan sila doon nagkamali. So, magkakaroon ng reflections through documentation by the use of electronic. Constructing knowledge. E-portfolios fall within a learning theory known as social constructivism, which states that learning happens most effectively when students construct system of knowledge for themselves rather than simply receiving information presented. Social constructivism also states that another determinant of effective learning is that it happens in a social context, that is, learners construct knowledge through dialogue and interaction with others. Yes, sometimes uh, we do not just rely knowledge to what we have read, to what we have see, but dialogue towards the others, gathering information from the idea of others is very much uh, useful, very much appreciated, because the more we dialogue to others, the more we learn the knowledge, we learn the opinion of others, the more we can construct knowledge in the perception from the other. Making learning visible, Bas and Eno describe the process of critical reflection that is involved in the creation of effective e-portfolios as one that makes invisible learning visible. Invisible learning refers to two things. Ano ba yung invisible? Invisible meaning intangible, no? Hindi siya nakikita. Ano yung dalawang bagay na yon, no? Refer to two things. The intermediate steps that occur whenever a student or any person is attempting to learn something or to do something, no? Kapag ang isang estudyante ay sinusubukan niyang matuto sa anong paraan gusto niyang matuto or may mga bagay na gusto niyang gawin. Number two is the learning that goes beyond the cognitive. So, goes beyond, mas malalim, no, ang pagkaunawa niya, cognitive to include the affective and the personal issues and identity. So, malalim kasi pinagbabasihan ang personal identity, any issues, no, mga personal na about sa kanyang sarili, feelings and emotions are included. Fostering student activity. Finally, because e-portfolios are a student-centered activity, one which the learner is free to choose what artifacts are included and is free to reflect on the process of their learning. They foster engagement and motivation. So, kasi nga, ang portfolio is student-centered. Tungkol ito sa students. About the students' work, students' documentation. This is this showcase the documentations, the best, the skills of a students. One which the learner is free to choose what artifacts are included and is free to reflect on the process of their learning. So, ang students ang nagde-decide, no, kung anong product, anong work ang kanyang gagawin, papaanong paraan, no, lahat ng mga pamamaraan, kailan ay ang students ang in charge, no? Kung free siya kung ano yung gusto niyang gawin sa kanyang activity. Types of e-portfolios. Some educators see electronic portfolios primarily as tools for generating new or deeper learning, while others view them as a tool for assessment. So, ang ibang mga kasi, mga educators, tinitingnan nila na ang electronic portfolios is very useful to make learning exist, while others see e-portfolios as can be used as an assessment in every student's work. So parang chine-check niya, no, pwede siyang magiging gamitin to assess the works or the product of each student's work or outcome doon sa work ng estudyante. There's a distinction between student-centered and school-centered e-portfolios. Ang school-centered e-portfolios are driven by assessment of learning. So, ina-assess ang learning. While learner-centered e-portfolios are driven assessment for learning. So, ang ini-assess dito ay yung yung natututunan ng mga learner. Yan yung learner-centered kasi ang pinagtutuunan ng pansin ay kung ano yung mga bagay na pwedeng ibigay sila na pwede silang matuto, which refers to academic tasks that fulfill the traditional rule of assessing students' learning, while at the same time providing an opportunity for students to learn as they complete the assessment. Yes, yan. Dito sa schools, ang sabi dito, sa school-centered e-portfolios, ang ini-assess dito ay kung ano yung natututunan ng estudyante. Samantala, dito naman sa learner-centered, ang ini-assess dito ay kung ano yung mga gawain, mga works, ano ba yung mga pwede nating ibigay na pwedeng matuto ang estudyante. In short, parang ang academic, ang topic, ang subject ang ini-assess dito, hindi ang learning. Naghahanap pa tayo dito ng mga bagay, ng mga gawain, ng mga research o kung ano pa dyan na pwede nating ibigay sa estudyante na magkakaroon sila ng learning, no? May matutunan talaga sila. There are different kinds of e-portfolios according to purpose of the e-portfolio for the student. Different educational institutions use different names with some distinction about with some distinctions between what the school or teacher wants to emphasize. We have here assessment e-portfolios. Ano ba yung assessment electronic portfolios? Where the audience is internal to the school and the goal is to support institutional outcome assessment. So, yung mga tao dito is internal. So, nasa loob talaga sila ng school. At saka yung goal nila, tinitingnan talaga nila ang kung ano yung magiging outcome. Kung baga, gusto nila halimbawa, ang gusto nila na magiging outcome is magiging knowledgeable or skilled ang estudyante, no, after the assessment. So, doon talaga sila nakapokus sa magiging outcome. Next is learning e-portfolios, where the audience is the students themselves and the goal is helping students examine and reflect on their learning. So, dito naman, ang tauhan naman dito ay nakapokus na naman doon sa students itself, no? Sila mismo, yung mga learners. Kasi tinatingnan doon, magkakaroon sila ng reflection sa kanilang learning. Ano ba yung natutunan nila sa loob ng ilang buwan na pananatili sa loob ng school, no? Yung sa mga academics, sa lahat ng mga works, no, mga activities na ibinigay sa kanila, magkakaroon sila ng reflections kung meron ba silang learning, ano ba yung mga skills na na-develop nila. Yun siya, Learning Earth, e-portfolios. Career or transfer e-portfolios, where the audience is external. So, kung external, ibig sabihin, nasa labas. And the goal is to provide students with a tool for showcasing their achievements to employers or transfer institution. So, nagagamit ng estudyante ang kaniyang kaalaman doon sa loob para gamitin nila sa kanilang career, no, outside the school. So, halimbawa, mag-a-apply sila, pwede nilang i-showcase yung kanilang portfolios. Na-discuss na natin ito last time, no? The more na maganda yung outcome ng ating portfolio, so pwede natin siyang i-showcase. Magagamit natin siya in the future, halimbawa sa pag-apply natin ng trabaho. Best practices in the use of e-portfolio. Ano ba yung mga best na practices? When e-portfolios have broader institutional uptake, students will be encouraged in all of their courses to use their e-portfolio and to reflect on and make connections between all of their courses and academic experiences. So, ito yung practice, no, na dapat ginagawa ng estudyante. Mas maganda talaga na mayroon silang electronic portfolios kasi nakikita, so balikan naman natin na magkakaroon tayo ng reflections. Nandoon kasi lahat, naka-stored lahat ng mga knowledge natin, process, no, yung mga pamamaraan, anong mga ginawa natin, solutions, lahat na. So, magkakaroon ng reflections na pwede natin doon tingnan na pagkatapos ng ating gawain. E-portfolios are most effective when they are established as an institution or program-wide initiative. However, they can still be successful at the individual course level. To ensure this success, it's important to observe a number of proven best practices. So, sabi dito, mas best or mas kapaki-pakinabang ang e-portfolios kapag na-establish talaga siya, no? Mas na-implement siya as an institution, not as an individual to students, but an institution. Talagang establish siya talaga doon sa school, no? Or kaya parang nagiging initiative na siya ng school para lahat ng mga recordings or documentations ng mga estudyante na mag-aaral sa loob ng institution ay nakapaloob doon kapag na-establish siya as an institution para mas makita yung progress, no? Merong yung success. Kasi the more na makikita doon na maraming mga gawa na talagang merong progression, no, progressive and successful, no, ang paggawa ng electronic portfolios, mas maganda siya na na-establish siya as an institution. Explain the benefits of e-portfolios to students. Ano ba yung mga benefits? E-portfolios can help learners develop new or deeper learning, which results in higher grades, help learners develop a better sense of themselves as students and as individuals, can be shared with friends and family members, and showcase learners' achievement when they are applying for a job. So, sinabi ko na yun kanina na magagamit talaga ang e-portfolios in the future, no? Future use like applying jobs, pwede din natin siyang i-showcase to our friends, family, na pwede natin siyang ipagmalaki sa kanila. Natutulungan din tayo ng e-portfolios para magiging much better, no? Mas magiging best yung ating mga gawain. Establish clear expectations. Explain to your students what you expect them to do in their e-portfolios. Learners maybe have difficulty understanding the need for them to reflect on their work and the need for them to make connections between different lessons and experiences. So, we have to explain clearly to emphasize what is the mere purpose of e-portfolio so that the learners will really understand, will firmly understand what to do in their electronic portfolios. Provide numerous examples of successful e-portfolios created by students. What does it mean? Direct students to example of effective e-portfolios like Inkless, a project-focused e-portfolio, or this e-portfolio by knowledge integration that features course skills, spotlights, and more. So, the more na mas marami yung na-provide natin na examples ng e-portfolios, mas magkakaroon or mas magiging productive ang estudyante para sa kanyang gagawing electronic portfolios. Kasi magagather yan siya ng mga designs, mga strategies, mga ano pa ba yung mga pamamaraan para mas magiging productive ang kanyang electronic portfolios. Number 4, scaffold students' learning. Help students start small. Ask them to choose just one artifact, such as an essay, and have them reflect on the challenges they had to address as they wrote their essay, or have the students select 2 assignments from different subjects and have them reflect on how each of those assignments help them to better understand the other assignments. So, scaffold from the word itself is help. No? Let's help one another to have a successful learning from the simple to march from simplest way and to develop from harder. Uh, mula sa pinakasimple sa pinakamahirap. Hindi kasi yan biglang magaling na. No, nagsisimula talaga yan siya sa simple, no? Bigyan muna natin ng simpleng problema hanggang sa pabigat ng pabigat. Ganyan din yung learning, no? Bigyan muna natin ng simple hanggang nagiging mas productive siya, hanggang sa nagiging best yung pamamaraan niya. Number 5 is walk the talk. Create an e-portfolio for yourself and share it with your students. You'll better understand the challenges and benefits of maintaining an e-portfolio, and it will also persuade students that it is a useful endeavor. Yes, walk to talk. So, paano tayo magiging effective sa pagtuturo natin sa kanila how to make electronic portfolio, where in fact, in the first place, tayo mismo na nagtuturo sa kanila ay hindi tayo marunong gumawa. So mas magiging best siya kung sa ating pagtuturo sa kanila ay gumagawa din tayo ng sarili nating e-portfolio. Tie e-portfolios to assessment. Maintaining an e-portfolio demands a significant amount of time and energy from students, and they will resent it if their time and energy are not reflected in their final grade. If e-portfolios are merely an optional assignment that is encouraged but not required, most students will not undertake one. So, sa paggagawa kasi ng electronic portfolio, nagkakaroon talaga siya ng amount of time, significant amount of time and energy kasi hindi naman basta-basta ang paggawa ng e-portfolio. So, kailangan talaga siya ng mahabang panahon or sakto na panahon based na rin lang din sa kung gaano ba kahirap or kasimple yung ginawang gawain, ginawang task sa kanya. At saka hindi din madali ang paggawa ng assessment kasi mahirap ang paggawa ng e-portfolio. So, ang assessment na gagawin ay hindi basta-basta. So, kailangan siya ng masusing pag-imbestiga, masusing pag-susuri kung appropriate ba yung magiging criteria ng assessment doon sa pagod na ginawa ng estudyante. Make it social. Integrate viewing and commenting on other students' e-portfolios as part of the assessment. You could, for example, have a link to each student's blog in the online space that your course has in your school LSM. Additionally, you could create a discussion forum in that online space where students make helpful and encouraging comments on one another's e-portfolio. So, ayan. So, make it social. I-post natin. Pwede din gawan ng blog. At saka pwede din sa YouTube, no? I-download. And then, gather many likes, no? Many hearts. Many, ano ba yan? Yung maraming response na mga likes doon sa ating ginawang presentations. Pwedeng vlog, pwedeng download sa YouTube. Yun yung mga common na ginagawa ngayon ng mga estudyante para ma-quote, no? Ma-quote ang attention ng mga viewers. Assessment of e-portfolios. Because e-portfolios require a significant investment of time and energy from students, it is important that they be assessed carefully and that the assessment contributes in a substantial way to a student's final grade in a course. So, yun yung sabi ko kanina, kasi ang portfolio ay hindi yan siya basta-basta, no, or ano lang, yung parang ordinary lang na gawain. It is significant investment of time, no? Sabi nga dito, and energy from students, no? Lahat ng panahon, pagod, hirap ay ginugol ng estudyante para magiging productive ang kanyang e-portfolio. So, dapat magiging masusi yung ating pagsusuri sa magiging assessment, magiging careful, no? Hindi ginagawang rush kasi bigyan natin ng halaga ang effort na ibinigay na in-exert ng students doon sa kanyang e-portfolios na ginawa. E-portfolios assessment rubric. E-portfolio purpose. The purpose of creating and maintaining an electronic portfolio is for the students to reflect on their years of education. The portfolio should include a statement of the students' goals, philosophy of education, and files which showcase the students' best work. The work selected by the students for the electronic portfolio should be organized and reflected upon. Yes, no, kailangan doon sa portfolio for the entire years, no, doon sa ginawa ng estudyante, dapat nandoon talaga yung goals, ano talaga yung pinaka goal niya na gustong gawin sa content, no, sa ginawa sa kabuuan ng kanyang e-portfolios. Nandoon din yung philosophy education. So, lahat ng mga files na i-showcase ng estudyante, no? Yung pinaka-the best talaga, pinaka-best talaga na effort, no? Na in-exert niya doon sa kanyang ginawang e-portfolio. Kailangan organize siya, no? Okay. Next, reflections. The electronic portfolio shows example of different kinds of work such as PowerPoint presentations, Excel files, digitally manipulated photograph examples, and Word documents. Each example is accompanied by a reflection composed by the student. So, anumang anuman paraan o sa anumang files ginawa ng estudyante, either gumamit ba siya ng PowerPoint presentation, Excel files ba, digital manipulated photographs, examples, and Word documents, whatever it is, the student should have reflection, no? Student should compose reflection on each of his or her uh, work. Okay, so that would be all. Thank you for listening. God bless you all.